Like, it's not even a fucking question. So don't tell me it's harder, right? Like,
that's answer the internet.
Right? So it's just like, you gotta do it because you would. It's your fucking mom.
It's up and down, up and down, up and down. Until
as confident as you are that you can make a girl come.
Yeah. No.
Even
I will make a guy
you make
come.
the fellas come.
Bro, I will make a guy come
Save the beer.
so hard, so fast. They'll never go back. They'll come back for more. They will never go back to a chick.
This is what it's like with the boobs, right? Like it's that fucking. It's not that serious.
Right. Hit the subscribe button.
I thought he looked exactly what I'm gonna look like in 20 years.
I was gonna say that. Like, listen, that's what old fucking guys look like. Did people did people think that Elon Musk was gonna be like hot and shredded? You see his picture of him?
No, but he looks like a beluga.
But I mean, did you think
got
otherwise?
That barrel chest. Like
He looks like
I think
Fiverr.
he's in great shape.
He looks like
yeah.
Fiverr.
No,
he looks like one of those
Show the
strongmen.
homies. Pop the top off and show the homies.
He's a blend of me and fucking Alex Jones.
Yes. Right? It's the chest. It's the chest. You're looking good right now, dude. You're looking good.
Right now, like I'm fucking Elon Musk on the back of the boat.
Yeah, it is that Alex Jones, Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
I did steroids 40 years ago. Body.
Got roids. I did roids.
Yes, that's the vibe, and I think that's okay. That's guys being dudes. I think that's the most relatable thing that Elon Musk has ever done. Is
he had a whiskey in his
pale
hand.
and he's got nipples on top of a barrel.
I saw someone say
so pale.
So pale. Like
he's working. That
like-
motherfucker's putting in hours at the factory.
If I'm a Tesla shareholder, I'm like, good.
Let's go.
Get behind the computer.
Yeah.
That's
That
the
was
first time
when,
he's seen sun ever.
Robert Pattinson was contractually not allowed to go outside while filming Twilight.
He had to
couldn't get a
stay.
tan.
He had to stay pale
like,
to be a vampire. That worked out.
He's got that Pattinson deal.
That hasn't changed much. Like
No,
he's
it
never
hasn't.
been tan. Like they didn't really even need to put that in.
He fell in
there.
love with it. He's like, I didn't go outside for 10 years. I was like, this is pretty sick.
Yo, we just been talking. You see this shit about Kylie Jenner? This is one of my favorite flexes of all time.
What happened?
She takes her jet.
I looked at my phone like I was gonna see it pop up.
She takes her jet
for 3 minutes or
from
some
one
shit?
side of LA to the other.
Do you believe that?
3-minute flights. So a lot of people were saying this is like flights. Planes will do this to fly somewhere to do maintenance and shit. But she herself has been like, yeah, I do this.
But like,
but here's the thing. That's a 40-minute drive without traffic.
So
and
with
if I'm
traffic,
Kylie,
it's 2 hours.
2 hours. That's
it's
I'm
worth
a billionaire. I'm trying to save time.
Yeah, it's absolutely worth it. Yeah, if you want to spend your money doing that shit, do that shit because it's 2 hours. Say
Right.
2 hours. Say I took a 3-minute flight
if it
for
was
2
a
hours.
10-minute drive, then no. But in LA, that takes 2 hours, and that's like I gotta do an appearance. I gotta do my makeup.
I take the helicopter to JFK anytime I can. It's $195. Seems like I'm doing a thank you.
That is crazy.
Okay,
the Uber will be like 95.
Exactly. So $100 more to get there in literally 5 minutes. I'm not
you're
joking.
Fucking rich now.
I'm rich.
Come on,
guys. I'm rich.
What is the point of being rich if you don't take helicopters 25 feet?
Isn't it for 5 minutes and they drop you? And this is how it works. You get there. It sounds like I'm doing promo. I'm not doing promo. They drop you off, and there's a fucking SUV waiting to take you to your terminal.
Right.
That's what. See, I've seen the signs. I'm always like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to lug my bags like 3 different terminals. It's not worth it.
But
SUV drops you right off at your fucking terminal.
That
so you're
is-
there at your terminal in 7 minutes total. Imagine going to JFK
In 7 minutes.
in 7 minutes
And
for $100 more.
And what is the thing that we all universally hate the most? It's traffic, it's travel, it's I gotta take the shuttle, they don't drop me at my terminal. So when you've made it in life and you've busted your ass, or in this case, they get harassed all the time and they don't have a private life.
Yeah.
I'm going to erase that from my life. I don't worry about that. It's basically like teleporting.
That's why comics get less funny, I think, though.
Yeah.
Because they don't go through, because you don't have an airport story. You don't have a...
Yeah, what's funny about what I just said?
Nothing.
Nothing
I'll be
at
honest,
all,
it was
right?
the douchiest story I've ever heard.
It was douchey, and I tried to justify it, but it was still so unrelatable.
But fuck it, that's like...
But I'm rich, guys. That's what matters. No.
I was. As I was saying it, I was like, "Oof, we are." I was like, "I'm in on now. I'm doing helicopter too," and I was like, "I should probably reel it in."
Be honest.
But,
you would do it knowing that it's $100 more. The Uber is
I'm
100
doing it every time from now on.
Now here's where it gets tricky.
Always.
You go with your wife. It's another $200 for
$200.
her.
Yeah.
Not worth
No.
it.
Well,
By yourself, one person, it's worth it.
Babe, I'll
2
see you.
people,
You better hit that fucking train.
because the
I'll see you
Uber's
in a little
100
bit.
for both of us. Right? Like,
Right.
We're gonna get a little bit more douchey real quick.
Okay, go.
I was last summer. I was going to a bachelor party in the Hamptons in Montauk.
Yeah.
And I was hungover. I was like, I'm not was like, I'm taking a helicopter out here. And then I got a helicopter, and I got fucking drunk at the bachelor party. I was like, I'm not taking
That's
any-
500, by the way.
I'm taking a helicopter back.
That's 500.
So I took the helicopter back, but on the flight out there, it was a Blade, right? And so it was like the flight out there, I was in the back with like not a bachelorette party, but 3 older women, not older, but I don't know, whatever, like 3 women in the back of the helicopter. And it was fine. Then getting a helicopter back, I was with 3 dudes, and just our legs were like a fucking rat king mess. And I was like, "This is disgusting."
Dude, I also remember when you told that story, you were like, "Dude, it was like $450."
Yeah.
And then like he told it again, he was like, "It's like $500." And then eventually it was like $750.
It was like $900.
Okay, every time you got a little more truthful, and eventually it was $2,000 both ways.
But you save hours in the Hamptons.
It's a 4-hour ride out there.
So that's what people, and I don't really fuck with the Hamptons, I'll be honest, and I'm saying that on this podcast right now, so clearly I'll be buying a house in the Hamptons in the next fucking year because I'm the biggest hypocrite. But like, it's 4 hours to be with the same people you were with in the city.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know, like, going 4 hours?
Maybe even worse, to be honest. You know, like
just the people you hate the most.
Right.
They're around the city.
In the most stuck up places that are going to charge a cover and be
the same restaurant. Everything, and I'm like,
right. You have some beach. You have some beach property. Hopefully,
when people go there, nobody goes to the beach.
Right.
It's
not a beach
like
town.
Backyard, or you do that thing. So I'm like, for me, I don't.
But that's why. Do you know what else they're doing for? See,
but it's 4 hours, and it's like if I'm going for the weekend. That 4 hours,
8 hours,
bro.
That's a half a day. 8 hours on your travel.
And imagine you rented a place for the weekend. Those 4 hours,
and that place you rented, by the way, is
fucking dollars.
Exactly, bro.
It was the right decision,
dude. You know who should really be doing it? The plane and the helicopter. They also are offering. There's a doctor or a urologist.
Seaplane, they shut that shit down. The people in the Hamptons shut that down. Blade had a seaplane that was doing it as well.
Yeah, because the people in the Hamptons want to keep that shit. We
want
want fishermen and fucking surfers.
We want it to
There's
be
a urologist in Manhattan that is offering bladder Botox and prostate embolization, where you like sear it, so that you don't have to piss as much, because the old people driving out to the Hamptons have to stop every like 2 minutes to pee. So think about this: you're older, right? It's you, your wife, and another couple.
They use
right?
the jitney. There's the Hampton bus.
Yeah.
I figured
they have
that
a fucking
the rich people.
You can have a toilet there, right?
Why do you guys take the bus? There's a toilet.
That's probably part of it.
That's
because
what I thought. Yeah.
I started to think about it because it sounded so silly. Like the headline is like, "Doctor is making it so old people don't have to pee to go to the Hamptons." I'm like, do we really need this? If it's you and your wife and another couple, let's say you're all 60 plus.
Yeah.
You pee 5 times an hour. She pees 5 times an hour. And you're all on different pee schedules, and the drive is 4.5 hours. You're peeing every 10 minutes. You're never gonna get to the Hamptons.
Never gonna get there.
It's actually like, just snip this or sear that, or give me my Botox, and I don't have to piss for 4 hours so I can get to my beach spot.
We have to figure out what the beach play is for New York. That's not so far.
Well, Jersey is the spot.
Is it?
Well,
So
you need to go to the right spots in Jersey.
Okay.
Because there is Seaside Heights, which is Jersey Shore, right?
Yeah.
Guidos
Destroyed
and all that
the
shit.
brand.
Right. But
Destroyed.
what happened was that the people who live in the nice parts of Jersey are like happy to let that be the reputation, because then nobody comes. So there are these there's a town they call the Irish Riviera, and there's these really like beautiful spots that are, you can't bring food on the beach. It's all clean. It's all families. It's all nice.
Dude.
And they're happy to let you think that my town is Guidos and fights and shit, because then nobody's here.
I was 100% a believer in that, because I grew up in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. So like I did like the Vineyard, I did Nantucket, I did Newport, the Cape, and I was like, fuck that. Especially because I was in high school when it all came out. So like they were the enemies, right? So, New York, Boston stuff just kind of got you to fuel
My
fire
place is
harder.
better than your place.
Right. And then last summer I got a place in Asbury Park, and it was fucking
Amazing.
beautiful, dope.
But
dude.
what you do
It
not
was
get,
so sick.
what you do not get, you get zero clout, you get zero status. Nobody will be impressed. No one will be like, "Oh, you have a house in Seagirt, you have a house in
Fuck
Spring
them.
Lake, you have
Fuck
a
them.
nobody cares." But you can get $1 million mansions on a little lake that's near the beach, and BYOB restaurants and all this shit in Spring Lake, New Jersey, and it'll probably be the nicest place you'll ever be in your life.
We should do that.
You know, and that's exit 98 off the Parkway, off the Jersey.
I mean, that's just a no-brainer.
So it's like an hour 15.
And
If you take a plane, it's only like 2 minutes.
I'll pitch Asbury Park one more time. There's a fucking ferry that leaves from the financial district.
Ferry's beautiful.
Ferry, it's like $16.
Yep.
45
Get a couple
minutes,
drinks.
bar on the ferry.
Uh-huh.
Boom, you're there.
and drops you off in Asbury Park.
It's like a 15-minute Uber, something like that.
But even
That's
that,
brilliant.
you know, and so like Manasquan was the spot where the kids like go to party, and then Belmar and Asbury Park, like the towns after that, kind of like the new spots that are up and coming.
Yeah.
But there's all these little towns around that are like you're close to where the partying is, but a little bit removed.
Right.
They don't like the New Yorkers who come down. They call them Bennies. It's like all the fucking Bennies are here for the summer.
Why do
But
they call them Bennies?
it has something to do with back in the day. It was like between Newark and New York, so it was like BENNY. So there's like some story about that. But a lot of my friends are locals, so they. And a lot of those towns are year-round towns where you can raise your kids and you get good schools, good education, but you're also 5 minutes from the beach.
Yeah.
So like I have a friend his dad retired, aka he just stopped working, but he doesn't have to move anywhere. He has the beach. He walks his dog on the beach every day. He's in the same town that he grew up in, and nobody knows because it's Jersey's the armpit of America, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But no one will ever be like. And I think it's a good thing, but no one will ever be like, Andrew Schulz was spotted at the Jersey Shore this weekend. The same way it's like in the Hamptons, you know? But, you know, certain people who make millions on the internet go to certain places where they like to be known and
here's the thing.
Spotted.
I'll tell you why that's valuable. It's if you want your property to increase in value.
Sure.
Like to the brand of the Hamptons.
It's a thing. It's a machine, man.
Thing, dude.
Yeah.
And even like with foreign investment, my buddy was telling me this, like all these foreigners buying Bel Air. And I'm like, why? And it's just Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Beverly Hills 90210.
Yeah,
like if it's the rich area, they go, oh, imagine you're some Russian trying to get your money out, right?
Right.
And you want to put, where do you put it? Do you put it in Brentwood?
Right.
I've never seen
I don't
a fresh
even know
kid
what
of
Brentwood is.
Yeah, what the fuck is that, right? Santa Monica, Venice. Venice is a ripoff of the other Venice.
Right.
So you're like, fuck this. I'll put it in the place where the shows
90210.
100%.
So maybe that's the only area code zip code I know. Like,
isn't that crazy?
Dude,
I know
it is
mine,
wild.
and I know 90210.
I don't know mine. I forget it all. I have to Google my address every time I write something down.
Dude, that's such an interesting thing about like brands and money and shit though, that it's like it's so dumb, but that's why I think it's funny when people say like someone fell off or they're not famous anymore or whatever. Like when we used to work with Jenna Marbles, who she was like always in the zeitgeist. And then all of a sudden, not. And I was kind of like, oh, it must be over for her. And I look at her YouTubes and shit, it's still like 10 million views.
Oh,
like
she's still out there doing it.
Because it's just like, once you make it, you kind of just make it. There's always somebody who's going to pay for your shit.
You have your
audience.
audience.
And obviously, there's ups and downs and there's levels. But feel
she
like
might be happier
Bel-Air,
without like the constant criticism. Like, I think that
she canceled herself.
Yeah.
That was one of the funniest. Remember that?
Yeah.
She came out and said, like, I just want to let you know that one time I used, like, certain language in my videos, and it's like nobody knew. Nobody was going to find out.
Oh, really?
She wanted to get ahead of it. You remember that?
No.
Yeah, she came out, and I don't think it was even
like
that bad.
some Nicki Minaj song or something
Yeah,
like that?
It was like something that really wasn't even that bad, but it was funny.
Well, that's
like,
we've talked about it extensively today, but I've been binging Always Sunny recently.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite episodes is the one they did where they just kind of addressed all of their blackface.
Yeah. Those guys got away with all of it, man.
Like, big time. Like, they're just sitting around a table being like, so, what was it? Max steps back. He's like, I'm not going to play Murtaugh in Lethal Weapon 7. Like, yeah, because you're white. He's like, yeah, but you have to celebrate me for I'm not racist.
Doing it anymore. Yeah. They're the best. They are the fucking best with it. All right, before we get to more business talk with Andrew Schulz, I'm talking about the business of online commerce. We're talking about eBay, where they are now refocusing on selling sneakers. I used to buy and sell sneakers on eBay all the time. A couple apps came along. The sneaker industry shuffled and changed up a little bit. And now, if you're doing your due diligence and you realize what's going on, eBay is actually the best place to buy and sell sneakers once again, because A, they have their authenticity guarantee, where you know you're not getting scammed, and B, it's the most affordable pricing because it's a completely like open free market. There's nobody else, getting their cut. There's nobody else trying to scam anything. There's no bots or none of that. You're talking about person to person, collector to collector. I have these sneakers. Here's the condition they're in. They are authentic. They might be dead stock and brand new. They might be slightly worn. They might be a classic that you can't find anywhere else that are used. Doesn't matter. All the best sneakers to make your collection be the best it could be on eBay right now. I mean, some of the best sneakers in my collection I found, in the deep, dark corner of eBay, where one guy was selling. There's nothing more satisfying than finding, like, this dude has a 10.5 and it's brand new and he can ship it in like 2 days and it's affordable. It's an awesome, if you're a sneakerhead, finding the gold ones on eBay is where it's at. So eBay sneakers, authenticity guaranteed. Back to Schulz. So you got the special out.
Yeah,
we'll
the
talk about that
special's-
for right now.
Special's out, man.
By the way, that whole segment, I don't know if there's a 30 Rock episode where Tracy Jordan is trying to do stand-up, and they're like, you lost it. And he's like, his bit is like, you know how people in St. Bart's eat their lobster, like,
But for real, so you went, I mean, your shit was pretty meteoric. So, like, a lot of times I feel like comedy, you almost do kind of keep your relatability because it's like, yeah, you're popping right now, but that's after like 30 years of grinding.
Yeah.
You probably put in, what, a solid, how old are you now?
38, so I put in like 15.
So that's
Yeah.
not like nothing.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
and then once you did hit, it went boom, right?
Yeah, I was
So,
good.
like,
Yeah, the internet. Once I went balls deep in internet content and just kind of putting out my stand-up clips, everything on internet.
It's funny. The internet worked, right?
Yeah, it kind of works. It's a crazy
I remember my
concept.
grandma before she died. She said it was a fad.
Yeah.
She said that computers and the internet were just a fad.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think
don't
those
think
people
so,
are,
Grandma.
how about this? I got a take. I think those people are going to be proven right. The internet laughs at them all the time.
Well-
I think there's going to be a time where we're like, get this the fuck.
I
Like,
hope so. I
we
fucking
already-
hope so,
We're already
bro.
talking about it with Be Real, where like Be Real is like the new cool thing where it's like you
yeah.
only use it for 1 second.
Yeah.
And that's it. And like
The
I
pendulum
think,
will swing.
I think it's going to swing back.
It's cigarettes.
It's
you think?
Yeah,
Well,
it's
yeah, no,
like-
I definitely think that they're going to look back.
They'll
and
have
go,
Surgeon
"Did you
General warning
remember-
on apps."
Can you believe that they
Yeah.
used to have access to it 24/7?
What's that?
like
Oh,
the
yeah.
internet? Like
100%,
they'll
yeah, yeah.
regulate it because they'll be like, you'll
They
go
smoked
crazy
all
and
day.
kill you. Right.
Right.
You know,
Like, you
they
can
ate
have some
hamburgers
cigarettes,
without
but-
even knowing. Like now, you have to put the
Right.
nutritional facts. You'll have
Right.
to put the nutritional facts on social content
On
in
the
the
internet.
future.
Which I
Like,
don't,
this
I
will
don't
make you
disagree
kill
with.
yourself.
You should.
Yeah.
I think
Hey, look,
If you are 13 years old and
You're
you're
gonna
using
be
this, you will
sad.
become a bad person.
Hey, you're
You
at
will
sad
be-
time. You've
yeah.
been here for an hour,
Yeah.
not done anything else. You're about to be
sure.
sad.
Yeah,
You know
I
what, though?
remember.
But those people, over in Europe, if you buy cigarettes, the boxes have like black lungs and
Yeah.
babies and shit, and those people rip that open and
They don't
smoke
give
them
a fuck.
anyway.
Yeah.
I will look at that and be like, yeah, whatever. Let me
Yeah.
get these sweets off.
I'm 90. This is how I got here. Like, this is what's gonna happen.
I'm happy. Like I'll do this and make my money and then die. The rest of you guys, I don't know. Fuck
Yeah.
it. Do it. Don't do it.
What are
Whatever.
the old grandmas smoking cigarettes still?
Yeah.
And
They
like,
don't
you
give
know,
a
they're like,
fuck.
it just doesn't affect her. Like that, we're that.
She smoked a cigarette and
I
drank whiskey
love-
every day. It's like, yeah. What was your secret, man? I went on Twitter 24/7. I sent 100 tweets a day for 30 years. That's what I did.
That'll go viral like once a year. There will be someone like, it's his 110th birthday, and we asked him how he does it.
Red
Bottle of
meat.
whiskey and a cigarette a night.
that's
It's
it.
like, yeah, that's not how he does it. He's just a super freak.
Yeah, no, it's not because of that. It's despite that, you fucking morons. But so
But yeah, I went in and then I just fucking.
But so you went
Yeah, a lot
from
of success,
from
yeah.
like New York comic and relatability to like I feel like a lot of your humor now is in your success and your money and all that. Like that's not an easy, that's a delicate thing. A lot of people will watch what we just did and hate on that. A lot of people will find the humor,
They
but a lot of
should.
people will be like, yeah.
Hate on it. Like I agree. Like I think for me, I try to, in a weird way, like I try to put myself around the angst, and that's a hard thing to do once you've gotten enough money to like remove inconveniences. And I'm not talking about like enough money like that's crazy. Like you make a good amount of money, you can remove inconveniences.
Right.
Like a reasonable
And you
amount.
can eat meals, and it's like when you're
Yeah.
living in a one bed a studio and eating
Yeah,
SpaghettiOs.
all your
you're
stories
funnier.
are crazy.
Right.
There's
Yeah,
rats
yeah.
in my fucking
Right.
Cheerio,
Yeah.
like
Right.
this thing. Those are
That's-
really interesting. So it's like, for me, like when we were living in Miami during the pandemic, like I knew I had to come back because I couldn't write a single joke in Miami. I was
because
so
it was too like
happy.
Yeah.
I was just, and nobody bothered me. Like nobody bothered me. Like culturally down there, it was like, let's have a good time, let's enjoy our family, and let's party and dance. And it's like,
That
who
shit
am I
ain't funny.
pushing back against?
Yeah,
You know what I
right,
mean? I
right.
need some like purple haired chick with fucking like armpit hair and like fighting and like angry at men for no reason, and then like I get to like wittily take that away from them, and it's like, oh, this is fun. This is
Right.
what I live for.
Right.
You know,
Challenge. You need to be challenged,
It's
yeah.
a fun thing. How do
Yeah.
I play the like I don't want to call it like intellectual warfare, but like how do you just wax poetic about something, even just the funniest way,
Right.
and just find that fun little nuance that is untrue, that is
Yeah.
completely fake,
Right,
but
but
it
it's
makes
funny.
sense logically.
Yeah.
And
right.
I need a little bit of angst to do that. I think the
So
first
where-
joke, yeah.
Where do you get your angst though? Like,
So, like-
this is also like, so you're asking the comedian, like, how do you write your jokes?
Yeah.
But like,
But
you're not,
once you've
you're not
made it,
that
like,
active on social, right?
No,
you're-
Twitter's just a liability.
Yeah,
So
right,
it's like
right.
it's like I'm not going to get canceled for something that did nothing for me.
right.
Do you know what I mean? I'll get
Yeah.
canceled for like a fucking joke I put out, but usually I don't think people get canceled for jokes. they get canceled for like off-color commentary. But like actual stand-up, here's a joke.
Well, because that is a joke, or a tweet can be like, he fucking means that shit.
If
He actually thinks that about those people.
It can be however you want.
Right, right.
You get to it, exactly. But if I have a mic and I'm doing a thing, then it's a little bit harder. But yeah, for me, I think I tend to push back against outrage.
Yeah.
I think that's
But where
kind
do
of
you
what
see
it
it? You
is.
see it on Twitter?
Yeah, it's,
Like in your mentions
like
or like-
Twitter,
like-
just news,
Yeah,
in general, culture.
I like how I've forgotten about the news.
Yeah, because the news is Twitter.
Where do you get your cultural news? News.
But
That's it.
the
Okay.
news is Twitter, but it's but like I don't know. The news is Twitter, and now Twitter is the news. Like the news outlets
Meaning the
are
news
just
outlets
as
are on
fucking-
Twitter.
Right.
So like
But
I'm going to
they're
hear about
also-
the trending stories.
But they're
from
also
there.
so in somebody's pocket or skewed.
Yeah, of
There's
course.
nothing.
Everything's
you
skewed,
know,
but I'm more
yeah.
looking at like what everybody is so reactive to, and then I want to kind of my knee jerk intuition is to have the opposite reaction.
Right, to
So
piss you
like
off and-
exactly.
But so a lot of people look at
we were
that.
talking
and
about
they're
this before. Like this is how men hang out. I don't know. Like
Right.
like if you're with your boys and you're on like a bus to a game or something like that. Like nobody is saying the right thing, right? Like that's not
funny. That's not
There's nothing
enjoyable.
funny about like you're finding like which teacher you would have sex with that is the biggest grossest teacher, right? And you're going, I'm going to say this thing, or if there's something crazy happening in the news, you're having a wild take that's wrong about it. It's not right,
Right.
and everybody knows you're just trying to make them laugh, and
Right.
that is in a lot of ways stand-up comedy. I know there are comics out there that are very like political and that kind of stuff, and it's just like. You don't
Well,
care
some
that
people
much.
call what you just described contrarian, and like
Yeah,
to
yes.
the point, right?
Yeah.
And that's it's
Yeah.
it has a negative
Hello.
connotation, but it's like that's what we're
this
doing.
This is what people who don't understand humor. This chalk it up to.
You're just saying that like to have a take, and it's like that's kind of
Ready?
a fucking game
Well,
here,
then
man.
we call it contrarian because we want to remove ourselves from what we like often feel,
Right.
and our feelings are wrong. Take my wife, please, is
Right,
the
right.
oldest joke ever.
Right.
That's saying get rid of my wife.
right,
You have a wife, or you had one.
right.
You got rid of it. You know what I mean? It comes from a real place.
Right.
That I have a wife that sometimes your wife annoys you.
You wanna get fucking rid
You're like,
of.
take her, please.
Yeah.
But you don't actually want that. You're not actually going to do that. But you had a moment where you thought about something
And
that was
it is,
wild.
And it makes other people laugh to
because
say
they've
that.
also had that moment.
Yes,
And that's-
it's the most. The funniest thing when we started Barstool, I'm like 25, and every blog we wrote, the comment section was this crew of like 40-year-old guys. This is back when a comment section actually had some value, and it wasn't just bullshit. It was like you knew their names, you knew their like stories, and every one of them to a man was like, I just fucking hate my wife so much. And I'm 25 and I'm reading it, and it killed me. Every comment, they're all hack jokes, but it's just so funny to me that like lemmings, guys, we all just walk off of the fucking. We just walked the plank, and we're like, no, my girl's different, and my marriage is gonna be different, and then we're like, nope, it wasn't.
And I believe that right now.
you will,
This is why like people try to like chalk up like what is comedy? What are these different things? All these different categories. It's like, buddy. If you're already thinking about like the category, you're missing the point.
Right.
Are you laughing?
Yeah.
Is this making you laugh? Because if it's just making you think and not laugh, it failed.
Yeah.
Right.
That's different.
Is it Colin Quinn who coined it? Like clapter?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. If that person that does the clapter could make you laugh, they would.
Yeah.
They
right?
can't. Nobody says things that people in a room will agree with because over saying something funny because they want to.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if you can say the funny thing, if you're just hanging around human beings and you can say the funny thing, you
do.
will.
Yeah.
You do.
Because it's the best feeling in the world.
It's awesome.
What's our? We say it all the time. Somebody said, "Would you rather make a girl come or make the homies laugh?" And everybody to a man said, "Make the homies laugh."
Yeah. I mean,
like making a girl come's cool.
yeah. I mean, a random girl.
Well, you say what? Because like making the same girl
I gotta
come over
make
and over
my
again.
wife
It's
come. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm gonna feel insecure if I
"Take
can't
my
make my
husband,
wife.
please."
For some random girl, dude. Are you kidding me? The homies, bro.
like, no, but
You know what's gonna make the homies laugh? When I tell them I didn't make that girl come.
That's the oldest joke.
Chuck
too.
it up, fellas.
How funny is that? One of the biggest hack jokes and longest running jokes is that, and we kind of stopped saying it. It was just like, you know what? No, I can make a girl come. Yeah. Because the oldest joke is, I don't know where the G spot is. I don't know where the
I don't. But we said the other day, like you were like,
when people the G spot's one thing. When the joke is like, I don't know where the clit is.
I don't. I have a joke. I don't know where the clit is. I swear to God.
What do you fucking mean?
I swear to God, I don't know where it is. I swear to God, I don't know where it is, and you don't either. You don't either.
Bro, yes,
No. You know more or less. That's the joke. I say I still have to do Ash Wednesday every time I'm down there. But you know more or less. But you don't know exactly.
It's under the hood, man.
Oh, is it? Have you ever looked under the hood? I don't know. No, you haven't. You know it's under there, and you're like, if I just press on this thing, but it's this tiny thing, so maybe it's on the top under the hood.
Okay, all right, I understand that. But pressing on the top and doing the Ash Wednesday will get the job done.
Man, bro.
See, that's what I mean. That's not a funny joke. That's not the funny joke. It's not a funny joke to say I can make a girl come.
Yeah,
that's part of it.
The worst,
right?
When you see a guy up there like talking about how good he is with ladies,
but,
it's the worst.
But I got to a point where I had said so many fucking times that my dick is small and I can't make girls come. And
well,
I was like,
is your dick small? I don't like that.
It's not. You know,
then don't say it.
But I can also make you come.
That's great.
Yeah, that's not funny.
Yeah, but you also don't have to say everything.
That's what I'm saying. right. Then just don't talk about that.
But I do think that there are certain times where guys lie for likability.
Yeah.
Right? And I think you see that in comedy, and that's inauthentic.
Right.
But if you like...
The other day no, you weren't. You know? It's
exactly.
Like, shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think you just got to find, like, where the truth is. You know what I mean? Like, by truth, I mean in your feelings. Not the right thing to say.
Right, what you're actually
feeling. What do you feel about it?
What most people feel is going to get you in trouble these days, and that's where we go.
Yeah, sometimes it gets you in trouble, but sometimes it's also just like, I don't know. I think But
I think most of us, it's like, my dick's not small, but it's not big. Yeah. And I can make you come, but I'm not great. And I think that's like the vast majority of all
if you're
us.
making them come, you're great.
All right. I mean, I guess it's great.
I'll be honest. I've been thinking if I've ever seen a clip for the last 4 minutes.
Schulz has got a seed of doubt in your head.
But the point that I remember with the joke, the point I was trying to make is like, what I'm trying to do is like, I'm hearing women talk about how hard their life is and how difficult things are. So immediately I'm trying to like, it's not that hard. Why is it not that hard?
How can I tell you it's easy?
And I think the joke, it was something about like if somebody kidnapped my mother and they're like, we're going to kill your mom unless you make Ted come or Rebecca come. And it's just like, if I got one shot.
I got it. Go with Ted.
Like, it's not even a fucking question. So don't tell me it's harder, right? Like,
that's answer the internet.
Right? So it's just like, you got to do it because you would. It's your simple, fucking mom.
It's up and down, up and down, up and down. Until
as confident as you are that you can make a girl come. Yeah.
No. I will make a guy come.
Make the fellas come.
Bro, I will make a guy come.
Save the beer.
So hard, so fast. They'll never go back. They'll come back for more. They will never go back to a chick.
This is what it's like with the booze, right? Like it's not that serious.
Right.
I think what happens like
suck Ted's dick.
See?
Be a mess down here.
That's it. Right? And then it's funny to imagine that. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. For me, that's what I'm always looking at. I'm like, just how do we have that much fun? How does that happen on stage? What can we do? And I think what happens is that scares execs, and like I'm not unreasonably so.
Right.
It's like, of course they're worried about the fucking bottom line.
Yes.
They're worried about the company. That's their job, to worry about the company. Their company is not to be like comedy purists.
Sure.
It's like, what is going to fuck us up? The problem is when there's enough outlets for us to put out our comedy that is uncensored.
Yeah,
exactly. You have the YouTube.
Then they have to, change their ways.
You have to. There's no way that you could compete.
This whole shit is why Answer the Internet works, where it's like we just talk about the dumbest, weirdest shit. But, no one wants to, sponsor something where we're talking about killing a 100-year-old man or fucking your dad or whatever the shit we do.
Until it's so undeniable, and then they have to sponsor.
Right.
But you got to prove the product. And I guess that was the thing with this is like I had no fucking clue how it was going to work.
Right.
I never done it. I know for a fact Louis had done it, but I don't even know Louis' numbers.
Right.
And I felt too embarrassed to like ask, hey, how much money did you make?
Louis is tough to compare to in any way.
Also, he's a fucking superstar, right?
Yeah.
And it's like
you could be at your best, and it's still, you compare yourself to Louis is like
it's like his recognizability and even scandal along with it. Like you want to know what happened with that, you know? So you're like, there's so much curiosity. Like if Chris Rock puts his shit behind a paywall for what happened with the Will Smith, I'm paying every single fucking time.
Yeah.
So that was crazy with the Louis one too, where he waited until like 50 minutes in. So he put out like sorry, and then you're like well, what did I say? He just didn't address it for like 45 minutes.
But that's because he is so undeniable. That's like on draft night being like, can I talk to Michael Jordan about his experience so I know what to do? It's like, bro, relax. relax, you know.
Yeah.
But there is some obviously a lot of. I also feel though like once you.
This is what the people want.
Was there a part of you?
Yeah.
That as soon as you realized this was happening, you were like, yes.
Realize what is happening.
Like you were gonna. I know you had to take a huge cash outlay and a big risk, but I don't even think it was a risk. I think you knew pretty quickly that you were going to make it back.
I didn't know that I was going to make. I started crunching numbers, and I was like, okay, I have a Patreon that has 20,000 subscribers. That means that every month 20,000 people are paying money.
Right.
So there's that many
So
people,
those people
that
will
pay
pay.
for online
Yeah.
content. So I feel pretty confident that they will. Right? But I don't know for sure, but that gives me some confidence. Doing the road really lets you know where you are.
Right.
If
you're
you're
selling
part of,
out all the time, you know people fuck, and that's paid tickets.
Exactly.
So you get a
That's a
fraction of
babysitter.
them.
That's-
right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
They
They paid
invested-
money to go out.
That's
Yeah,
their
yeah.
weekend,
Buy a ticket
right?
and get a babysitter. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so-
you get a fraction of them paying, plus that 20, plus
And then you start to
some
put those
strays.
things
Then,
together.
so, but I'm just saying, like you know, we said before, like,
But the
you
story
could-
around
if you
yeah.
spent whatever money on marketing.
Yes.
To come up with a story that good, you wouldn't. You know what I
No,
mean?
you couldn't.
You couldn't. So
Yeah.
was there a point where you were like, "This sucks and it's kind of fucked
When
up," but
they-
also now I've got this fucking story that is better than any marketing ever.
Well, when it initially happened, I didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't know if I was going to try to get another thing. I didn't know
Right,
whatever. So
right.
initially, I'm thinking when it happened, I'm like, okay, this is the right thing to do for comedy. It's the right thing to do for jokes. I've never watered down my jokes. I've had my jokes only on YouTube. Keep this in mind. I've never done a stand-up special for a network.
Right, where
So
they
I've-
tell you what to change,
Exactly.
or tell you what to do, or whatever.
The
Yeah.
people know me from me putting my stuff out exactly the way I
Right.
want it. So I'm not going to change
Netflix
that.
didn't touch anything when you did that one.
Well, I didn't consider that stand-up.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's
Right?
different. Yeah.
I was
Right,
doing
right.
the turn your phone videos, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like stand up
Your jokes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
specifically.
Right,
You know what
right,
I'm
right.
saying? And it was much more like political and like nuanced and like researched and all that other stuff. This is
Right.
this is pure stand up,
Right.
right? Like so basically I'm looking at this story and I'm like, okay, this is great to be standing up for jokes, but I still don't know where it's going to go.
Right.
It wasn't until after where I was like, I think that people will appreciate this idea.
Yeah.
And that did factor into it because I'm like, I think this is something that people are willing to stand by. And I think they're tired of the censor shit. And once they felt what comedy can be like, what sports can be like, what everything can be like without the condom on, because that's all it is when you're with
Once
the
you
network.
get a taste of the real shit, you're like, yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Once
yeah,
you take the condom off, you're not going back.
Right.
So, and I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what happened, obviously, with you guys. It's what happened with shit. You can even look at like Wall Street Bets, what they did to like cause disruption in like financial markets.
Yeah.
Like all these things are
You went
happening.
right to the source. You know, you get the real deal. It's like your cocaine's not cut anymore. You get the real shit.
Once you get the real shit, you can't go back to the cut. It just
Right.
feels weird. It's like
Right.
watching like a monologue from like Jimmy Kimmel now, and it's like what is happening?
Yeah,
You're like
yeah,
on
yeah.
a,
We used
am
to
I on
like
a
this
cruise
shit?
ship?
Yeah.
Like
Right,
what the
right.
fuck am I
Is this a bar
watching right
mitzvah
now?
here? Like,
yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah,
there's
yeah.
knock jokes on
Right,
TV, and
right.
you just can't
It's
believe
terrible.
it because you've actually heard wild jokes
Right.
on a fucking podcast.
Right.
Like
And
there are
that's the
funnier
real
jokes
shit.
that we're just gonna say riffing right now than what Jimmy Fallon is gonna
And
say.
their cast of writers can
And those writers are funny.
Right.
That's
And
the
they
sad
could
thing.
be- yeah, like, let
are
those
some
guys
of the
go
funniest
wild.
fucking
Yeah.
writers, and it breaks them
Yeah.
to have to write those stupid jokes. And like, yeah, that's the thing. I almost feel bad for the writers in
They're
that
trapped.
situation. They're fucking good.
When you were coming up, was there ever a moment where you were like, maybe I'll be a writer? Or were you like,
Never.
I can't do that?
No.
Because you knew what was happening in the room?
No, it just wouldn't give me as much joy.
Wait, what were you doing up until like what was your early 20s and shit? Were you
Well,
doing
I mean,
real jobs?
I had let's see, I was managing a restaurant for a while, and I tried to save up all my money. I just like lived at home. My parents live in the city, so I was very lucky. I got to like live at home for
Stay
like
in
almost
Manhattan the whole
nothing.
time. Yeah.
And then I was working with my folks. My folks had like a dance studio, so I was like just putting a few hours in there. There was like teaching like partner dancing.
You were teaching?
Not me.
Oh, bro! I was like,
Imagine. I was just doing like
this is gonna turn into a lesson. I've been dying for a lesson in dancing, dude. This
we were
became
doing a
like
little
a
tap
Patreon
dance, a little
podcast.
hip hop. We were, mixing it in there.
So yeah, so
Probably, that's such a compliment to you that I believed it for even a second.
Yeah,
I look
you
at
could
you
have
like,
been
I see that
an
motherfucker
instructor.
teaching a dance
A
class.
dance class over here. Or we were doing the flamenco today, and tomorrow we'll do the
imagine, bro.
Yeah, if you get to Miami, it makes sense. Yeah, that's why I went down there.
Was there? I feel like there was
Yeah.
some pushback though. Did you get like a lot of hate
For what?
for people being like, "Oh, you're just charging us money," or "This is a lie," or whatever? Were people
No.
supportive?
There was the support on this has been absolutely crazy, like unreal crazy, and that's been obviously the coolest part because I've never been more nervous to release anything in my time. Like I was more nervous. We had like a watch party that I had people over, and I just removed myself. And I ran into another room.
Never do.
So people were just watching you while you were
before
there?
we even watching, like we flew 10 people in to New York. Like 5 on 5 were like local.
Oh, they were
but
fans?
But yeah,
that's a little
as
different.
well to be there.
But that's
it's
still
like
tough. But
friends,
it's a little
family,
different.
everything like
Yeah.
that. But like even before
Jesus.
it started, I'm in the fucking other room because I just have no control of this situation. Like on stage, I control.
Yeah.
Something happens, I can react to it. I can write
You
this
got the
shit
mic,
no
you got
matter
the power.
what.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
I don't know if the fucking internet's gonna go out. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how people. And then the reaction that night was just unreal.
Could you imagine if people were like, yo, dude, this sucks.
dude,
This shit blows, man.
Brutal.
You wasted all your money.
dude, it's brutal, man.
But I know you. I know you felt that way, but it was inevitable, dude. Like you're at the point where your comedy's good. You know the business. Like they're really. I can't tell. It wasn't my wallet, and I wouldn't. So shut the fuck up. But there really actually was no risk at the end of the day. You know.
It's look. There's a book called like the Banker and the Suicide King. I forget what it is. It's about a guy named Andy Beal who tried to like beat the best poker players in the world by raising the stakes. So he was like, I can't play as good as them, but if I can get them to be spending so much money, they'll get nervous.
Sure.
And then
they make a mistake or whatever.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right?
That I can understand. Yeah.
That's the territory I was operating
right.
in.
You're like, this is. I'm out of my
You
depth.
can't think
Yeah.
clearly. Like
right.
if it
but
was,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like from the outside, I'm like,
I
you've
hear
never
what you're
been
saying.
funnier. You've never been smarter. You
Yeah.
got your. If you were on the downside of your career and
Yes.
your audience was dwindling or something, I'd be like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But like.
And the tide is right. Like people are sick of the censorship in general.
Yes,
So they're like,
yes.
oh,
Now's
they
the time to do
want to
it.
support something that is being censored because they also want to prove like, hey, we like that and we want more of this.
Right.
And the only way
It's
you
a
win
little
anything
form
is
of
with your
protest in a
dollars.
way. Like
Yeah,
fuck
it's
you,
the
man.
protest of
the man and the
Yeah.
machine and all that shit.
100%.
Yeah.
So it's like I think that was
Timing's
definitely
everything.
Yeah, timing is everything. Stories is definitely important, but you got to have a fucking product, and it was just really cool. Like even just seeing like The Rock post about it, fucking the Nelk Boys and all these like they're like these people who have like.
All right, let's not
huge-
put the Nelk Boys on the
It's like,
rock.
bro, you say The Rock?
Listen, Rogan like.
no shade to them, but the rock, bro.
No, what I'm saying is like they're people who got big platforms,
Yeah.
right? And like,
They're all supporting it.
yo, posting on the Rock's page probably costs fucking $500,000.
Oh.
Easy.
Right,
Yeah,
like if a
yeah,
company's
yeah.
like, "Hey, we want you to support
Right,
these
right.
cherry cola or some shit like
Yeah,
that," it's
yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
very expensive.
Right.
So the fact that he just did it
Right.
and like I don't know that kind of stuff I see because it's all grassroots. I need that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
we put some fucking posters up in New York City. They were done in 3 hours. They were
Yeah.
taken down. Like they're covered in 3 hours. I spent $6,000. I'm like, oh, this would be cool. You walk around. It's like an album release.
God.
My girl walked the dog.
They were gone.
Took a picture, and I was like, "Yo, take another," because I was on the West Coast. I was like, "Can you go back and take another one?" Went back, nothing. $6,000 for 3 hours. Poof, for 3 hours.
Literally, for a Kylie Jenner flight, bro. Bam.
Went back and nothing. Like didn't even cover it. I think they just took them down. Yeah. So, but that was
That's
it was
great,
just cool
man.
to see all the people fucking reaching
Yeah.
out and posting, and just the reactions to it has just been.
So do you
dope.
think you'll just do that from now on?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It's a lot of work. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
But if you just go into it now knowing, and maybe the price is a little lower because you don't have to shell out the money, but it's just like kind of what Louis did. It's like, I'm not going to fuck with any streamers anymore.
Oh,
Just do it myself.
I'm not doing notes ever again.
Yeah.
So ideally, we can. I'm in the best situation, right? I know how much a day
Your
in
value,
I can
yeah.
make,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And we have 2 more weeks. We're only putting up for 2 weeks for sale, so it's like I know how much they can make. So that's not my value. That's my value alone, where I get to keep it. I have the rights forever. I can do whatever I want with the audio. That's my value. So for me to do on a streamer, you got to multiple that shit like
Yeah,
crazy,
right.
Like.
And now you have the proof to be like,
And
bam,
I know,
here it is.
Like
Yeah.
this is,
Yeah, this is not
know.
pie in the sky. It's
exactly.
Like, yeah, this
so
is the number.
that's a good thing to bargain with. The other thing was like doing it with the streamers. Like for me, I don't know. It's like they just get lost. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was talking about this. Like Bill Burr is, I think, the best comic in the world, and it's like. The best. I love Bill, and it's like I feel like not enough people were talking about the special,
Right.
and it's
Because
like
they
that's
have
on
so many other
Netflix.
fucking things coming
Yeah.
out, and everything is watered
So
down.
so what is Bill
Yeah.
supposed to? Is Bill supposed to do all the promo by himself?
Right.
If he's gonna do all the promo by himself, he might as well just release it
Do it
like
himself.
me
Right, right,
and
right.
make all the money.
Do
The
it
part of the
himself.
bargain is you got to do something.
Right.
And I think what happened with these streamers is early on with Netflix, it was like everybody who was on was a star.
Yeah. And you get that front fucking page and all that.
Now they can't make. Now they can't make stars.
Right.
So you have to make it.
Yep.
Okay. They're losing money, so now it's tough to pay. If you can't get me eyeballs, you got to pay me for
money.
the eyeballs I'm not getting.
Right. And if you can't pay me money, what do
You
you
can't pay me. I don't get the eyeballs.
And you don't
What,
even
what
get
are we
the,
doing here?
And you don't even get the
I would
name.
say-
Like, it used to be like Netflix star, Netflix special.
People
is
still care about
cachet.
that.
But
Boomers-
even that is
boomers
starting
care.
to like
The kids never
It's
care.
starting to
Boomers
because
care.
it can be on HBO Max, it can be on Amazon, it can be on this. It's like even that's starting to dwindle.
I would say my algorithm would be in the top 1% of like feed this guy comedy. But all I watch is like comedy specials, just comedy shows. Not for a single second was
Bill
Red
Burr
Rocks
on.
ever on my
Bro,
phone.
yeah. How?
And it's Red Rocks. It's like iconic. It's like it's a
the
big
algorithm
fucking,
is in advance.
Yeah.
The YouTube algorithm is so advanced, and this is why I tell comics like
Well, it's the smartest. It's fucking people. I don't think people
it's
realize
data.
Google.
It's not.
Your
Google.
Gmail is your YouTube.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
this is the
But it's-
registry in the sky is coming
It's
up
the
with this
data
Yeah.
of Google. It's the data of YouTube. Like the biggest search engine in the world is Google. The second biggest is YouTube.
Right.
So it's like they have the two biggest search engines in the world constantly crunching data and finding the people that you like. Like I don't even think TikTok will survive now that YouTube has shorts.
Yeah.
I think everything will just be on YouTube, and that's where people consume content. And that algorithm is so strong, it's going to find the people who fuck with you.
that you don't even know.
Exactly.
That's like this is a new show you've never heard of. You're gonna like.
If you're a comic that
Because
has no like
YouTube tells you so.
fans or anything, you put your stand up on YouTube 100%, and you keep putting it out there, and you shoot it at a lower budget so it doesn't break your fucking wallet, but you keep doing it. When you're ready to do a special, specials cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to produce. That's just a flat cost you can't get around. Like you can find ways to
Is
cut
it
corners.
really though?
400,000.
Like, but because the best people charge that, because I bet you could find some people who can do some sick shit with a camera.
You could do
that's
it
not
for-
going to be $400,000.
You could do it. You could probably get it done for $250. Do you want all the frills? Like, do you want fucking Bruce Buffer introducing you?
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Like, how do you?
Okay, but so
do you want to make a
400,000 for what you
special
do.
or a normal?
But even when I hear about all the YouTube specials recently in comedy, these guys always say like, I spent like $50,000. I spent my life savings on it, and I know these guys right here could shoot your special and it'd be fire, and they're not going to charge you $50,000. They should. They could. They might. You know. But I know guys who are fucking fire. That if you find the right people and they're just looking to get their name out and all that shit, like it doesn't have to be as expensive as I think people make it. I think there might be a certain company you go to and certain people and blah blah blah.
Depends
But
what you want. Do you want a guy with a steady cam walking around? Do you want to have 8 different
of course.
cameras? Do
Sure.
you need 8 different guys
Certain
holding
things you
those
have to
cameras?
pay for, no doubt.
Exactly. You're in a massive theater.
But I
like,
do think sometimes you
listen,
guys are.
You could.
You can do it too.
Trust me.
I just hate. It breaks my heart when I see some guys who I know don't have $50,000 and they literally put their life on the line for it. And it's like I think you could have found some fucking NYU interns.
No, you can.
Who would?
You can. There's no question. You can do it at any cost. But at the end of the day, you are going to end up paying for what you do.
Yeah, you get what you pay for. Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah.
right? So it's like I've done them all. I've done the most lo-fi version. I've done multiple cameras. I've done them for all different prices. The editing is going to be crazy.
Have you found though a like your lo-fi versus your hi-fi, whatever the terms are? Is it worth that much more money? Would you say it's worth $400,000?
I can
because I
find
bet you it's not. I mean, you're funny, and that's what people. I know the sweeping shot matters and the HD matters.
No, it doesn't.
But that's what I'm saying.
I said no sweeping shot.
Yeah, like
that's not what you pay for.
That's where
That's
it's
not-
like there it's diminishing returns
No,
at some
that's
point,
not what
and
you
I don't
pay
know
for.
what the money is, but
what you have to for me, like I mean, this is inside baseball, so maybe people don't give a fuck about this, but like how you edit a stand-up special is very important, and how you shoot a stand-up special is very important.
that I can understand making.
You
mattering.
have to, and you have to
Yeah.
do it 2 ways now. You have to do it so it can also live on social, and it can live on
Clips,
YouTube
short form,
or
long
whatever.
form. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So it's like, but how you, I mean, editing it is crucial. You really have to understand comedy. I think one of the
Right.
reasons why comedy specials suck so much is that the audio editing, people have no fucking clue how to recreate what the room is. If you weren't in the room that night, you have no clue how to
Right,
recreate
the crowd
it.
could be roaring,
And you hear nothing.
Like
Yes,
there's
yeah.
nothing upsets me more than not even the audio, but when there's a cut in an edit to someone not laughing. And I'm
like,
like,
what are you
why is that
doing?
front and center right now?
yeah.
I'm laughing. Now you make me feel dumb for laughing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what it is. It's the people cutting it are just doing their job.
Right. Yeah.
And like when we edited mine, I'll be honest with you, we did 1 minute a day.
Yeah.
Think about that.
That's
1
wild.
minute, it's an hour. That's 1 minute a day. It would take us a
crazy.
day to go through. Some days maybe we got through 2 minutes, but 3 minutes. But
Yeah.
some minutes it was 1 minute a day. That's remember, we shot 4 shows. So it's what is the best joke
Of every
of
hour.
each fucking
Yeah,
show.
yeah,
And then is mashed and put together seamlessly so you're not noticing these cuts. Making sure, remember, we have 18 microphones throughout the room so we could recreate the feel. For me, if there's a disconnect between energy in and audience energy out, you always feel uncomfortable.
Yep.
So
Yep.
if the comic's giving too much and they're not getting enough, you feel weird. If the comic's giving nothing and it's getting too much, you feel weird.
Yeah.
It's like, this is
You
not
have the
matching.
ick. Your
Yeah,
body
yeah, yeah.
knows there's something
Right.
impure about what it's watching.
Right.
So it's like finding
It's like a
a
laugh
way-
track almost. Like,
Literally,
this is-
literally. So you have to recreate the feel of that room because you're performing for that room. So your energy is matching that. The people at home have to feel that.
Yeah.
So you have to be in there really making sure that you're recreating that for the
That I
listener.
can understand. That's
'Cause
worth the
that
money.
takes
yes
months.
money and months and money. Yeah,
Because guess
no,
what?
that-
We tried to do it budget once.
Oh yeah.
The first time we ever did a live show, we were like, we're gonna put it out after the show,
Yeah.
like podcast. And we got in the room. This is 8 years ago,
Yeah.
like a long time ago. And we got the video back. And we didn't even know we were supposed to have microphones in the room.
Yeah.
So
So
we
you're
were-
just working off this mic.
we were-
but it sounds like you're bombing.
We
Yeah,
were like, yo, we killed
You
for our
crushed,
first time.
right?
The
Yeah.
room was rolling. We're gonna put
Yeah.
this out, and it was like,
And
nobody's
I was like,
laughing.
I'm quitting the podcast.
And it
I'm
feels
gonna kill
uncomfortable.
myself.
we're not funny.
And
We're
there are
gonna
people
bebop.
who put their specials out like that.
Yeah,
Like I
that's-
really think they like redid the audio for Cat Williams special because it wasn't done right.
Right.
And they re-put it back on
Yeah.
Netflix. People are like,
Really?
it sounds like he's bombing. I think so. Don't I mean, someone fact check me on that, but I think that
Yeah.
they did. It is so crucial in comics. A lot of times they'll just film it and then just put it out. And it's like, no. You are, for me, when I'm doing a special, if I'm filming something, I'm doing it for the people at home, right? I'm doing it for that crowd, but I'm keeping in mind the people at home.
Yeah.
They have to be able to feel that. So when I'm watching the special and I saw people watching it in this room and like pauses were getting laughs, I'm like, oh, good. That means they're pulled in. One of the greatest things about Chappelle is he comes through the screen. Love him or hate him. When he's talking to you, he's telling you a story, he's doing jokes. He doesn't stay here. He comes through. He builds the tension outside of the screen, and that makes you feel like you're at the show. And all of a sudden, you're getting caught up in that tension. So when the release happens, it's a bigger laugh. You have to do that with the editing. You have to do that with the feeling and the vibe. And the more jokes are worked out, the more you know where those pauses are, the more you know how to like stretch that tension. Like I can even see in the cellar, like there's certain not the cellar, in the special, there's certain jokes that like I had fucking worked out perfectly. And it's like, oh, I'm milking that. That's good. And then there are others that I'm like, I need 3 more months.
Yeah, that wasn't
I
ready.
need 3 more
Yeah,
months
and I would have
because
nailed it.
and I kept doing them afterwards. I was like, oh, I found a little bit more silence there. I could have had a little bit more beat there. Like, I don't know. For me, the special is like, after doing this one, I'm like, I need a brick.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
people
yeah, it's
hit
a
me
lot.
up. They're like, "Hey, would
What's
you be
next? What's
interested?"
next?
No,
Like,
they
yeah.
say, "Would you be interested in producing my special?" And I don't know how to say, "God no." Like, nothing would make
Well,
me.
not that's you know what that's why I say like that's why those prices come in because if you said I'll do it for $1 million then that's the price.
Yeah.
How about
It's-
this? Do you think there's anything with as you were talking about that because I've just been watching porn on VR recently. First time I put the goggles on
And?
watched some porn. It was a trip, man. Adriana Chechik was whispering in my ear, and
No way!
it was wild. So, but I was thinking, I don't know, maybe
VR.
I don't think I would
There's a
wanna
guy
put
who
on
did
goggles
VR.
to watch a comedy special.
There's a guy who
But
did it.
Yeah,
he
it
did
work?
a VR one. I watched it. I mean,
Like I wonder if someone would pay.
You're in
like,
the
like,
room.
Like if your special was you pay for it and you get it at home, but there's also like this 3D element.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. But I would not want to put on goggles.
I mean, you
I'll put
see
on
the
goggles
other
to jerk
people.
off. I'm not putting on goggles to watch Andrew Schulz. All right, man. You're funny. You're not that good. You're not Adriana, man. So it was wild.
No,
though. There's an audio thing in the headset, so I didn't even have like headphones in or whatever. And all of a sudden she's like, and it's in my ear,
Oh,
and I was
crazy.
like, whoa.
See,
It
that
was
was
wild.
when he was telling me about that. I'm trying to find something. So I have a very important question to ask you too in a second. But when he was telling me about that, found it. It was like I was like, see, I treat porn and sex so differently that if it got that close to sex, I'd be like, I'd rather go fuck somebody. This is too similar to sex.
I'd rather fuck Adriana
I'd
Chechik though,
rather,
bro. I'd rather be looking at her than who's gonna have sex with me.
But here's for the most important. This went fairly viral, so maybe you guys have seen it. But it's this TV show, the intro to this TV show that I'd never heard of before. It says, really wild to find a failed, forgotten TV show where everyone is now famous. The last name is a shocker. So, I want you to...
Okay.
Is this last name, the last name that pops up, is it the most important name change in history?
Get out of here!
Billy.
Billy Burr! Imagine if he didn't change it to Bill.
Billy
if he
Burr.
was Billy Burr at the Red Rocks, different game.
Totally different life. The game has changed. What was that called? Townies? And it was just all people in
Gloucester. Yeah, that's why everyone went viral on like Massachusetts.
Hey, it's Billy Burr. Yeah.
I
Dude,
think
that's hilarious.
I think the older guys call him Billy though.
Do they?
Well, that's funny because when he does his nicknames, it's old Billy Redface. It's
Yeah,
old Billy this,
yeah,
it's Billy that.
true.
So maybe there was a whole time where he was calling himself Billy.
I think the OGs still call him Billy.
Yeah,
Billy Burr.
Yeah.
That feels like something. If I ever, if I went up to him and said, "Hey, Billy," fucking, you don't call me Billy.
What are you doing?
I call myself Billy, and like my buddy, that is fucking hilarious.
He's fucking amazing.
That is a different life if he's Billy. Last thing, you think Ricky Martin's fucking his nephew or what?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And I think that
that's
sucks.
cap.
I
Yeah.
think that sucks that someone can just say that.
And now you're the nephew
But-
fucker forever.
But yes,
Yeah.
because he got a restraining order, but didn't go through the police to do it. You could just go I could get a restraining order on you tomorrow without any proof.
From whom?
Who?
From you go to like the courts or you go to like a domestic violence thing, and they'll just do it without any investigation first. So right now there is a restraining order, but he never went through any law enforcement.
That
So
kinda makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
because they kind of got
God
to be
forbid
like.
there's a girl who's getting beat by her husband.
And it's like we got to do this whole investigation and shit. But for right now,
yeah.
just stay 100 feet away, and nobody's, no one doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
But one newspaper is reporting it. It's in Puerto Rico, and he came out and said there's no truth to it. But he lawyered up with the biggest lawyer, the Bill Cosby lawyer, the Prince Andrew lawyer.
Oh, don't do the guilty lawyer.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
but,
not
But
good.
also, that's
No,
not
no,
fair.
no,
Like,
no.
if someone is about to
Yeah.
come after me, I want to get the best lawyer. But when you get the best lawyer,
It's the
I
guilty
go,
one.
You did that
Yeah.
Because if someone said, I'm fucking my nephew, I would just go, no, I'm not, dude.
Yeah.
I'd make a video being like, no, I'm fucking not.
Yeah.
This dude is drunk. This dude is crazy. I wouldn't be like, speak to my lawyer. He's also the guy representing the rapists. so I don't know if he did it, but also his reaction, I don't think was the best one in history.
How do you get to become the famous lawyer when you're the guilty lawyer? Like those two guys you just named are guilty.
Bill Cosby's walking around free right now, brother.
But he went to jail. Like,
And
he was
Prince Andrew's
found
not-
guilty,
But
right?
he went to
But he
jail
went
on a technicality.
or whatever.
Oh, he went
Yeah.
to jail on a technicality? I thought he got off on a technicality.
Well, he got off on a
No.
technicality, but he. Yeah, no, you're right. He did get convicted. Well, that
Oh
one
no,
was also
yeah. He
But,
got
but you know what?
No, he got
probably
convicted
him-
on a technicality. That's why he's off.
That's what it is?
Yeah,
Okay.
because basically they used testimony from someone that they shouldn't have been able to use it.
And I think that lawyer might have been the one who was like, my man, like.
Maybe that was a good lawyer choice then.
No,
just in case.
By the way, he's also represented Kim K and like other people, not just rapists.
That's
like,
where the
so
money
he's-
is,
he's
though.
a-
but that's a tricky. What a weird profession. I don't want to be.
I know defending.
Dude.
Like,
I like
the
defending
scum.
them comedically.
Yeah.
But like with
Well,
actual
those
real life
people say,
repercussions.
I'm making sure the prosecutor does his job, and it's like, no,
No, that's their
bro,
little
you're
get
trying
up.
to get
I hate
rapists and
that.
murderers off.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
For
and
mega amounts of
for
money.
tons of money.
I believe in the judicial system.
yeah, fuck
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Just so
dude.
you know, Sam Adams defended the guys, the shots of the Boston Massacre.
Yeah, suck my
Because he
dick, dude.
believed in the Constitution.
Fuck
Shut up.
that. Bullshit.
There was... No, never mind. I forgot what I was going to say. Fuck, I had something earlier.
No, we were good. We did it anyway.
Fellas, thank you, man.
Yeah, so the special is on theandrewschultz.com.
Yeah, theandrewschultz.com. I don't know when this is coming out. When this is coming out?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay, awesome.
Right?
So,
Or
Thursday.
Thursday, yeah. So it'll be up for another, I guess, week and a half.
All right, beautiful, man. Thank you, bro.
Thank you guys for the
Thank
support.
you, bro.
Love you guys.
Make sure you subscribe to KFC Radio on YouTube to get all the video content. Subscribe, comment, like, and make sure you turn on the bell notifications so you know whenever new video content drops.
I want to say something, but the video has to be faster. That's it.